Hey guys, I want to make this kind of quick, but I want to go over some information about these uncut base set first edition rolls that are out there. I know some of you have seen the sections of 3 and individual, as well as the black and white that have come up for sale. And recently there was these rolls and the sections came up for sale at the Toronto, or at the con that was in Toronto, Canada. I believe that's where it was anyways. Now the story for these goes back almost a month. Yeah, I want to say it was probably a month. But I'm going to give you guys some information on what's going on here, and why I believe it's. I need to make a video on it. So if you look right here, I mean, these look beautiful. You've got 2 uncut rolls. Many of you know I have a base set unlimited roll. I was made aware of these from Collector in Training on IG through messages. He had picked up a black and white section, because apparently those were connected to one of these rolls before he cut them off, and then there's no more on there, so they're not on the roll anymore. But when he made me aware of them, I went to the seller and I ended up picking up a couple of the black and whites, but he sent me some other ones. But really I was interested in the rolls themselves. So we began talking and we struck a deal: $10K for the blurry roll on the right side, $25K for the not so blurry roll on the left side there in the picture. And the reason I went that high is, I mean, these are first edition base set. And, some of you hearing that price, if you've been to that con in Canada, you might be thinking, wow, that's way lower than what he was telling people, he had an offer for. So I don't know what went on completely there, but I was reached out to by several people, and I'm going to go over that as well. Now, when we originally made the deal, I told him, all right, let's go ahead and get it set up. I'll go ahead and buy it. You can ship it out to me. And he said his limits prevented him from doing so. So it was the weekend. I was going to help him. This was like October 19th, I believe it was right around then. I told him I was going to help him out, get his limits lifted. He was like, well, let's just wait. I'm going to send you a few, check out the quality. I'm like, all right, but we got a deal. He said, yeah, we got a deal. So he sent me the stuff. And once I get them in, I kind of see why he, wanted me to check out the quality first, because it wasn't like blurry and good quality. It was like really blurry, low saturation, and the other one was blurry as well. But the guy on IG Collector in Training, he had actually sent me some pictures, because he had bought a couple of the black and white sets prior, and this is what he discovered: there's no trademark. It's missing the TM beside the official Nintendo licensed seal. So that's an issue. And I hadn't got mine in at that point when he showed me this. I said, all right, let me look into it. Let's try to figure this out a little bit more. And let me pull off the Chrome. I'm going to show you guys. So like, I got mine in, and it definitely doesn't. And the quality is pretty rough. It's not. The camera actually has the autofocus on, and that's so that you guys, as I pull it closer, you guys can kind of see it a little bit better. But there's no TM right there. And I bought 2 of these, but the guy, he had oversold, so he ended up sending me, which worked out really good. He actually sent me the low quality and the little bit better quality. And I'm gonna show you guys some digital pictures of this as well, but just to give you an idea, it's still kind of blurry, but it's definitely missing the TM. We're looking right here. And then I'm gonna show you guys my base unlimited uncut roll to show that it's there. This one's like really bad quality, but we're also gonna look at some close-ups of the font, and you can see like the quality is just way different. And then you've got the TM right there. Again, sorry that it's, kind of zooming in, out, but I did that so that when I show you guys these pieces, you can kind of see for yourself as I get a little bit closer. But let's go back over to Google Chrome. That's without the circle. All right, if you look right there, the font on the T, I mean, it's pretty different. Like the one on the bottom, that's the regular quality, and then the top, that's the quality that you have on the black and white. I mean, it's really blurry, and the font just seems completely different. Even the spacing up here, if you look at beginning, like some of those letters they just seem off. So big issue. And if you guys are saying, well, there's a difference between unlimited and first edition, maybe the TM mark isn't there on first edition. This is a first edition pack, and there is a little TM mark down there. You probably can't see it there, but I'm showing you that I have packs to compare this to. Same thing with, you might be able to see a little bit better there. That's where I show it on the back side. Here's the unlimited pack, shadowless. It also has it there. So every iteration of base set has the TM mark. Now this is the rolls on the side. So this was some more pictures that I had. If you can look in the middle of the roll, like this one has a W, this one doesn't. He actually talks about this. Me and the seller on eBay talk about that. There's a red line in here. And that's, to me, that's actually a good thing because we've seen that red strip on packs before going through like the middle of it, which is pretty cool. I assume that's what that is, but I don't know for sure. You got some Wizard sticker tape right here. Got some acronyms, saturated paint. Yeah, I think it says saturated paint. So all this is stuff that you can use to authenticate the product or prove that it's not authentic. Here you can see if we look at these rolls again, you have one roll going one way and one going the other. So they're wrapped in different directions. I don't know why you do that, but I guess, that can happen. Here's the worst quality, for the color. Now this is not an out of focus picture. It's just, that's the quality of it. Like it's that blurry. Here's the better. You can see that it's still a little bit blurry, but again, this is in focus. It's just the quality's not there. Again, it's missing the TM. And then you can see like this is the quality that's very crisp. That's on the base unlimited wrapper roll that I have, as well as it's similar with the double fossil uncut, if you guys are aware that I have that one. But you can see it's got the TM and the quality is very crisp. Here's all three side by side. You probably can't tell much of a difference there because it's small, but it's crisp, kind of blurry, really blurry. Saturation is off. And so that's it for the pictures I'm going to show you guys. But I will say that if you reach out to Collector in Training, he might be able to give you some more pictures up close. He did many for me with like going all the way down to the little individual dots and stuff. So that was kind of cool. So what am I saying with all this? I'm saying that I don't know whether or not it's authentic. Those rolls are authentic. So when I talked with the seller about it, he actually wanted to, he wasn't sure either. So we talked about it a little bit more. He still hadn't set up the buy it now listing. So I told him, you know what, now that we see that the trademark isn't here and we've got this other stuff, how about we get it authenticated, fully? Because the deal was he was going to take 50 sets of 3 off of each roll, and then he was going to get to sell those. And I wouldn't ever list anything until after he had sold completely through his stuff. And I was even going to direct people to him and be like, hey, this guy has them for a good price. The problem with that is with the roll in, or with these in, and the quality there and missing the trademark, I can't do that. Like we can't confirm that they're authentic. So I said, hey, I know people that work for WotC that are employees. How about I reach out to one and I'll see what he thinks about it. He said, yeah, that'd be great. He sent me more pictures. I started talking with the guy, and immediately the WotC employee said, hey, this looks bootleg. And I said, okay, let me just send you more pictures. I'm going to ask you about, is there a problem with the TM thing? And he was actually referring to when he saw this picture. When he saw this one, that's where he said it was bootleg. He hadn't got the other pictures yet. But he started going into there's a whole lot of information that he had. He wanted pictures of the cardboard, of the stickers, like even small pieces of all these different areas. And he was like, all right, there's a possibility, these could be authentic, but there's really no way to know, and there's a lot of red flags. And I said, okay, what if I can get the rolls to you? If I can get the seller to agree, can I send you the rolls? I'll pay you for your time, and then you tell me whether or not you think they're fake. If they're fake, or if they're authentic, or if you don't know, just present the facts as they are. And whatever it is, that's what I want to know, because I don't want to sell anything that potentially is counterfeit. And if your gut says that, they're counterfeit, then we're going to go with that. If your gut says that, hey, these are authentic, but you can't prove it because you don't know for sure, then, that's the information that I want. And he said, yeah, I can do that if you can get the seller to agree. And I had already had the same conversation with the seller, because I told the seller, like, hey, I've got a WotC employee. If I can get him on board, would you agree to letting him look at it in person and then issuing a written statement about it? And he said, for sure. And I said, are you certain? Because I don't want to get him involved unless you're fully on board with this. And he said, yes, that's fine. So I had already gotten the green light from the eBay seller and the WotC employee. He was being pulled in. And so I got a timeline laid out. What was going to happen was the eBay seller was going to ship me the rolls. That way it's covered by my insurance. Then I was going to ship it to the WotC employee, again covered by my insurance. All of these costs were going to be on me. I was going to pay the WotC employee for his time. I told him, don't let there be any bias in this. Give me an answer one way or the other. He's going to put it in writing. You know how crazy that is? Most WotC employees never want to put anything in writing, but he was going to put in all of his findings in writing. And then if they were real, the money was going to be sent directly to the guy. The rolls were going to come back to me. And then if they were not authentic, then they were going to go back to him. All this was fully laid out in our messages. And so we had it set. And he told me that this was a Thursday or Friday. He said that he could have the stuff in the mail with tracking by Monday. And I told him that because I had asked him, like, hey, I want to make sure I give my WotC employee updates, tracking numbers, all that good stuff. And he was, so he was like, hey, I need to get in top loaders for my 100 sets because he had to cut 50 off of each. And once he did that, once he got the top loaders in, he could put them in there. Then he could ship the rolls to me. He said he needed till Monday so that he could get the top loaders in, have them sleeved up. And so when I reached out to him on Monday I reached out to him on Tuesday because he did not send me a tracking number on Monday. He said he didn't reach back out to me until Wednesday. So this is 2 days after I'm supposed to have the tracking number. I'd already told my WotC guy, expect it by the end of the week because I told him to send it UPS. That way it's fully covered through my insurance. And since it was coming from Canada, it's only going to take a few days. And so when Wednesday I still hadn't had the tracking number, he did reach out to me, said, hey, I know you're a nice guy and all, but pretty much I'm going to take this to a show in Canada and see what they say there. So I'm obviously mad at this point because I just wasted my time and I look like a fool to the WotC employee. And I've been going back and forth, giving him information about why I think it's real, why I think it's an issue. We've had all these conversations about, different things. This has been going on since October 19th. So, I mean, this is several weeks we're into this. And, he's agreed to the deal twice and just keeps putting it off and delaying it for whatever reason. And now he's basically saying, hey, I'm going to go see what other people have to say. But you know what? That's his right. He can do that. He backed out of the deal. I basically have to live with it at that point. And I was going to. However, he did say that he would come back to me after the weekend, if nothing happened. And I was going to wait for him until today to see, hey, maybe it won't sell. Maybe he'll find out some more information. But then I had people reaching out to me from the convention, including a close friend of mine, saying that he was telling people, I've got a $90K offer on this one roll. But every single one of the people who reached out to me, including like the sets of 3 that he cut off that he was selling to vendors, and I got multiple messages about this stuff, not only the roll, but the individual sections of 3. Not one person said that he mentioned it was missing TM or any of the other red flags. And to me, that's why I'm making this video. He's selling the product knowing that it could be counterfeit. It has no provenance. He's already been deceptive in his dealings with me, but that's personal bias. So you guys, you can take that for what you want, but to me, that's another layer there. But when you don't display all of the information, especially about being counterfeit, possibly being counterfeit, to me, then you're hiding known information about a product that you have no information of where it even came from. I don't know how hard it is to take a base first edition wrapper and get a blurry scan out of it and then print it on wrap that's very similar to this. Is that possible? I've never been to a facility, but that's the red flag that goes off in my mind. Did somebody do that? And that's why they have a blurry image. The good thing about a blurry uncut wrapper is that somebody probably can't, if somebody knows how to reseal product, they can't take the wrapper and reseal that and make $3,000 light packs. But at the same time, they're still selling the uncut wrapper. It could be counterfeit. It could be real. All the evidence points to it being counterfeit. However, there are possible reasons that could explain some of these things, like the TM missing, and for the wrap itself having blurry print and different quality, being wrapped different directions, even some of those indicators that are on the tape and the cardboard. These are all things that somebody who has been in the factory and been a part of the registration roll printing could identify and assess a professional statement of whether or not he thinks it's authentic. But he avoided that, and now he's going places and selling to people that are reaching out to me asking, hey man, are you interested in this? What do you think about this? Is this real? And how do I tell them, hey, I don't know for sure that it's real, but I can tell you this. Here's a picture showing that there's no TM mark. Did he show you that? And they say, no, he didn't show us that. Like, I would want to know that. Let me see if I can go It should be the very first one. Yeah, like I would want to know this. Like that's not something your eyes are going to be immediately drawn to because it's so small. But if you know to look for it, or if you as a seller know that it's not there, you need to point that out. So again, I don't want to like go too in depth with this because again, there is personal bias. I am a little angry that he's cut off the deal a few times now, especially this last time where we had everything set in stone and wasn't set in stone. It was verbally agreed, and I set up a meeting with a WotC employee and what kind of wasted his time. So that made me look bad. So of course, like again, I have personal bias in that direction, but the facts are it is missing that TM. They are blurry, and there is no provenance to where they come from. So those are 3 big red flags that if he goes to sell it, that needs to be mentioned. And until, as long as people are reaching out to me, I'm going to just send him this video instead because I got a lot of pictures. Collector in Training, he had a lot of pictures that he sent me as well, including this one right here that I was showing you guys. And so that was a nice, good quality picture that I can show you guys where it's obvious, there's no TM there, but it's the same way, not only on that black and white print, but the 2 color prints as well from the rolls. So let me know what you think. Am I out of line? Am I just giving too much personal bias into this? Should I let the guy just do his own thing, and then if it ends up being counterfeit, he deals with that on his own? Or do you think it's right of me to even put this information out there for you guys to know? Because again, this was a deal that we had. I would have loved to have had this in my personal collection, but I want that authentication there. Like it's a huge risk to buy something like that. I mean, these are beautiful rolls. They look just like the base Unlimited. Well, it's the same kind of roll. Like they're wrapped the same way. So like that's why my personal bias was to buying them, because they look like what I have. But there's those red flags that kind of come up, and to make money back on something like that, eventually I would want to resell it, whether it be now or 50 years from now, or if I just cut off a few sections here or there. The only way I can resell it though is if I get that authentication from somebody who worked in the factory, not my personal bias or personal gut feeling of whether or not I think it's real, because these things can't be ignored. But let me know what you guys think, because I really think this would have been a historic item, or it still can be if you find that right person to look over the product and to give a statement on it. But it's really hard to find somebody who's willing to do something like that, especially from that timeline that worked with Pokemon under WotC. I mean, that's just like it. WotC and Nintendo, they can really scare these employees into not ever saying anything, revealing their names. He wasn't going to reveal his name, but he was going to put out a written statement. I thought that would do wonders for a product like this, and that's what it needs. But again, let me know what you think versus what I'm telling you, because sometimes when I hear myself, from an outside perspective, I always agree with myself, but someone else may not when they hear me speak. And I want to hear that too, because I'm not trying to like tank this guy's sales for the products if they are real, but how do you know that they're real, and how can you sell them without telling people what you do know that goes against the product itself? All right, you guys have a great day, and hopefully I'll see some of you tomorrow night during the live at 8 p.m.